This is the Orioles Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Baltimore Orioles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good evening and welcome to the Baltimore Orioles Postcast here on this Tuesday night. As always, my name is Luke Slabaugh. We're streaming live to YouTube and available on demand after the fact wherever you get your podcasts for free. This one is painful. This one is one of the more demoralizing and deflating losses of the season. The O's welcome in the very competitive, super talented, well-paid New York Mets, challenging for the NL East crown, but in command of a wild card spot. Juan Soto, Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, all the stars. Jump out to a 6-2 lead and crumble in the late innings for a 7-6 loss in 10. The O's fall to 40-50, open the homestand with a frustrating loss. They're 10 games under 500, now 3-4 in games decided in extra innings, and 12-10 in one-run games. I want to say first and foremost, thank you so much for the support, the outpouring of support during the last episode. I had mentioned that we were close to 9,000 subscribers here on the YouTube channel where this streams live, and a bunch of you, casual viewers or people who just hadn't subscribed yet, hit that button and join the community officially. And so I want to say thank you and welcome anyone else here watching for the first time, Orioles fans, Mets fans, just general baseball talk shop people. You're welcome here. This is a good community, very respectful people for the most part, and I'm happy that you're all here. As for me, I'm pretty sure I have strep throat, but we carry on. What we should be talking about is a 6-2 win-ish for the Orioles and an immaculate inning by right-hander Brandon Young in his 5th major league start. However, we have to work in reverse and talk about where this thing went wrong. So we'll start in extra innings and then peel back the curtain a little bit. So Yennier Cano, the right-hander, in the 10th, and then Bryan Baker in the 8th. Let's dive into this. Hold our noses, maybe, with what's to come.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Top of the 10th, right-hander Yennier Cano is on. Felix Bautista pitching the 9th inning and keeping the O's in a tie ball game. Francisco Lindor is the automatic designated runner at second base. First pitch out of the gate from Cano is a changeup, middle low to Juan Soto. Obviously not the first person that you would like to see with a runner on base. And to their credit, the O's pitching staff did get Soto in desirable situations with not runners in scoring position, pretty clean sheets to work with. But Soto bangs it up the middle. It's an RBI single and one pitch, and the O's have already allowed the designated runner in for a 7-6 lead. Cano is then able to work his way out of some magic with this incredible balancing act. It gives up a single to Pete Alonso. Travis Jankowski pinch hits for Mark Vientos to sacrifice them over on a bunt. Jeff McNeil's intentionally walked. And then back-to-back really good plate appearances. Cano on the mound at least striking out Luis Torrens, looking on a backdoor sinker, and then Ronnie Mauricio, who had put bat to ball pretty well this game, lined out to Ryan O'Hearn to end the inning. 7-6 would be the final score. We go to the 8th. Few innings prior, a 6-2 lead. Right-hander Bryan Baker is given a clean top of the 8th. Brandon Nimmo leading off with a single, 107 off the bat up the middle, fastball, middle low. And then Francisco Lindor also gets a hold of the fastball, middle, didn't run completely out over the plate towards the black where Baker might have wanted it. Hits a home run to deep center field, and it's 6-4. Game gets interesting, but you're thinking, okay, just get out in front of someone. Get an out, put a batter behind you, and start to settle down a little bit. Not the case. Juan Soto, again, at the plate with no one on, hits a little chip shot into right field for a single. And then Pete Alonso at the plate, right-hander, gets a slider off the plate outside, a couple inches at least, but puts bat to ball and just smokes it. A 6-6 ball game after 2 two-run home runs off the bat of some of the Mets' best. And at that point, Andrew Kittredge comes in to stop the bleeding and clean up the frame. Which leads me to my first point. Why isn't Andrew Kittredge pitching in this inning in the first place? You signed him for $10 million to be the premier setup man, no? And that was something that was lacking, was depth in the bullpen. You have a closer in Felix Bautista who apparently can't hold runners on. Cool. And now you're trying to build your bullpen from back to front. I don't want to hear anything about, oh, we don't believe in traditional bullpen roles. If you have a designated closer, you do believe in the setup man, a inning guy, an eighth inning guy, a long reliever, a middleman, specific roles for pitchers. And we even saw that at the start of this year when Matt Bowman was doing kind of the long relief stuff. Scott Bluette has taken over that for the most part. So you should have an eighth inning guy. And we know that Bryan Baker is good for one of these meltdowns a month. It's happened. It happened in the Yankees series up in the Bronx a couple weeks ago. I believe there was a game against Boston or Kansas City where it was also wheels kind of coming off. And that's the nature of the game. That's nothing against Bryan Baker. He's got a spot in this bullpen and he's talented for sure. But in a game like this, I don't know. Where's the sense of urgency? There was talk that Bryan Baker might have been tipping his pitches, and that certainly seems to be the case, especially with the way that Alonso was going off the plate to get that ball and hit it for a home run. So that's my thoughts on that. What we should be talking about, and I apologize as my voice is failing me for sure, is the stretch in which Brandon Young became the best pitcher in baseball, went on a complete heater, and was OP, overpowered. Huh?
This is what you'll be talking about.
Who had this on their bingo card? That Brandon Young, in his fifth major league start, in his age 27 season, undrafted free agent right-hander, would be schooling the likes of Juan Soto, Francisco Lindor, and Pete Alonso, and go the Divine Nine. Pitch an immaculate inning, the fifth in Orioles history. You got to keep in mind, Brandon Young has had no good major league outings to his credit. This was his first merit-based, meritorious outing. I just invented a word there. 7.02 ERA heading into tonight. Hadn't gone 5 innings in the start before. He jumps through that threshold tonight. And I'll preface this by saying that he was not dazzling with strike one early on. He had good command within the zone, but through the first 4 innings, there were only 5 first pitch strikes, given the 12, 13 or so batters that he had faced. So he didn't get off on the right foot with some of these batters, but he was able to then pitch intellectually. And so, for those of you who don't know the lingo, immaculate inning, 1 inning, 3 strikeouts, 3 strikes apiece, 9 pitches, 3 strikes, 3 strikeouts. It is a rare feat in baseball, more rare than a no-hitter, but becoming increasingly more common with the way that pitching has pivoted to power and some of the break, the spin rates, the velocity has all increased and become a bit of an arms race in baseball. Only the 119th in Major League history from the Orioles rookie. So we'll take you top 5, 1-0 lead for the Orioles. Jesse Winker strikes out on a splitter on 3 pitches. In fact, let me see if I can pull up the box score here in this rundown if the game book has gone final. I believe that it has. What do we got? Jesse Winker starts off by fouling a ball, 94-mile-an-hour fastball in on the hands, fouls off a changeup, and then swings through a changeup, low at the bottom of the zone. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, a strikeout. Jeff McNeil up to the plate afterwards, fouls off a changeup first pitch, swings through a change on the second and third pitch of the at-bat, both around 87, 88 miles an hour. Then Luis Torrens, the final victim in this inning, starts by fouling off a cutter, fouls off a curveball, takes a timeout, getting a feel for the situation, and then 96 on the black. A 4-seam fastball from Brandon Young outside gets the right-handed hitter Torrens looking, and that is the first immaculate inning since Kevin Gausman back in 2018. Exciting. And You wish that being all hopped up on those vibes that Brandon Young would be able to continue that in the 6th inning. He promptly did not. Um, Ronnie Mauricio, the third baseman, hit a home run off of a hanging splitter to quickly change the fortune of the Orioles, made it a 1-1 ball game, that home run going to the flag court. Brett Beatty then hitting a curveball low for a double. And then this is where I said last time out that the Orioles, I think they intuit and they understand that they really don't want Brandon Young to be going through a lineup a third time. Like, they really don't want him going a third time through the order, because I think by the time that you've seen him through 2 plate appearances and you've got the video and you know the sequencing, you kinda know what's coming next. And so the lineup card flips over, uh, to this third go around. Brandon Nimmo gets a fastball he likes out over the plate, just charges it to left center field for a double. Both the Beatty hit and the Nimmo hit could have cleared the fence. Made it a 2-1 ball game with Beatty scoring on that double. Um, Young gets Francisco Lindor to fly out to Colton Cowser in left field. That's pretty much the end of the line for him. Gregory Soto comes in to face Juan Soto, and it turned out to be a pretty good move by Tony Mansolino, the interim manager. He gets Juan Soto to fly out on a first pitch fastball. It's high. And then able to get Mark Vientos to ground out to Gunnar Henderson to end the inning. So a well navigated situation that kept the game within reach, 2-1. And it leaves Brandon Young still searching for his first win. 5 1/3, 2 earned runs, 5 hits, no walks, which is huge, and 6 strikeouts. Stuff really played. ERA now at 6.14. So ways to go. We're gonna get out of here relatively quickly. We got ads, and then we'll talk through the Orioles rally there in the 6th, and we'll get out of here. We'll look towards tomorrow. This is the Baltimore Orioles postcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. Let's take a look at the ads. I think it's FanDuel. Should be. Summer sports are in full swing. Whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game more exciting. You're already following the action. Why not make it a little bit more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburnt at the beach. It's easy to use, fast to pay out, and makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. If you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit fanduel.com to get started. One more sponsored tonight, and that's OpenPhone. You know, running a business, that every missed call is money left on the table. All these situations, whether it's emergencies like a burst pipe or a cleaning service, for example, if someone doesn't pick up, you're going to go with someone who does give service. And so a reliable business line is important. And this is where OpenPhone comes into play. It's the number one business phone system that helps you streamline and scale customer communication, all from an app on your phone or computer. The AI agent handles after hour calls, answers common questions, and captures leads so you never miss a customer again. OpenPhone is offering Locked On Orioles listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/lockedonmlb. That's openphone.com/lockedonmlb. If you have existing numbers with another service, OpenPhone will port them over at no extra charge. OpenPhone, no missed calls, no missed customers. Um, Orioles had a real chance to put belt to booty here in this game, and we'll gloss over it real quick. Clay Holmes, the right-hander on the mound for the Mets, first full season really as a starter. They're trying to do what uh, I guess Matthew Boyd is doing with the Cubs, going from like relieving to starting pitching. At least, his role with the Guardians there, and then expanding it outwards. But there are success stories like this. Jeff Samardzija way back when, reliever, and then stretched out to a starter again, and it's been working. He had a ERA in the 290s going into this game. He also has this new kick change with the spiked middle finger, kind of tilts the axis of the ball a little bit. some drop to it. We saw that when he struck out Tyler O'Neill in the third. So Clay Holmes was cruising at the same rate that Brandon Young was until the sixth. Couldn't hardly get an out. Gets out 0-2 on Jackson Holiday, then throws a slider that hits off his shoe tops, grazes it. So Holiday reaches. Jordan Westberg then goes down for a cutter low. And it's great to have his presence in the lineup just from the intimidation standpoint, just more balanced with Westberg in it, which is why I would question some of the load management techniques, even with that index finger injury. Westberg singles to left on that cutter. They're averaging, 4.9 runs per game with Westberg in the lineup. And then Gunnar Henderson gets a sweeper at the shins. He hits it off the end of the bat to center for a single. And so the bases are loaded. The O's go station to station, nobody out. I'm thinking you got to at least get one here. You're trailing 2-1. It would be just imperative to have a sac fly or something. Enter Ryan O'Hearn, who has not been on the hottest streak of late. All-star selection, yes, but has cooled off considerably late in the month of June and further. So he fouls off 2 pitches, 0-2. Then O'Hearn gets a slider over the plate and knocks it into the right field corner. 2-run score, and it is a 3-2 Orioles game. O'Hearn's first RBI in 11 games and his first multi-RBI game since June 11th against the Tigers. Then Ramon Laureano works a good 2-2 count, finds a sweeper he likes low and away against Holmes. Hits a line drive to left field. And that falls. Makes it a 5-2 ball game with 2 more runners scoring, and that should have been that. The O's start 4 for 5 with runners in scoring position, and it's the first 5-run outing by Clay Holmes all season. His first one as a Met, his first real doozy. He's lifted for left-hander Richard Lovelady and later in the inning right-hander Alex Carrillo, his major league debut, by the way. And the O's did have runners at the corners with 2 outs and Jacob Stallings at the plate. Now, you could opine and say, besides that one hit in Atlanta, Stallings kind of figures to be an automatic out, right? He doesn't even get the chance to swing the bat. Takes a called strike with 2 outs. Ramon Laureano is picked off third base, getting a little greedy. Cedric Mullins had gone to second on a steal attempt. And Laureano had started faking towards home plate and got picked off. Jackson Holiday also added a solo shot in the bottom of the 7th to make it 6-2. Went opposite field on a fastball middle low, around 97 miles an hour, and that was off of Carrillo as well. So welcome to the show, my man. We carry on, and tomorrow it is a 7:05 first pitch on ESPN. Big national TV game for the Mets and the Orioles. Left-hander David Peterson on the mound for the Metropolitans. Peterson is 6-4 with a 3.18 ERA. And right-hander Tomoyuki Sagano is his counterpart. Really needs to get into shape. 6-5 with a 4.44 ERA. Things are spiraling for one of the Orioles trade chips on expiring contracts. This game did not inspire any confidence for this team to buy or compete. They should have won this game. Good night. Stay safe. I will see you right back here tomorrow night.